What's up, rockers?
I'm Kaz.
And I'm Shea, and welcome to the next episode of For the Record with Kaz and Shea. Thanks, everybody, for watching that first episode. How do you think it went?
I think it went pretty good, considering that we don't rehearse or do anything.
Yeah, we're just riffing. But before we get started, I just want to tell everybody that no, I was not having a stroke during the last show. You know, I'm a handsy guy. I'm all over the place. I was doing some rocking back and forth. I'm okay. My mental capacity is all right. I still have my facilities, but I'm going to try and cut down on that.
There's nothing wrong with being excited. You were excited.
And then I want to apologize. My headphone cable kept on hitting the mic stand, and so we're going to try and avoid that. We want the best, clearest audio, experience for the fans here.
Oh, we got the team for it, though.
Got the team. You know, again, Kelsie and Mark are here with us, helping set this up, and what this episode is going to be about is we're going to be running several series within our show. And this is going to be the first part of a series that we discuss our top 5 greatest musical experiences together. A lot of these shows we go to are just a show and then we come back. But more often than not, our shows are something we build lots of other things around it. And this is definitely one of them. It's about Southern California, 2017, San Diego. What do you remember about how that kind of came about, Brian?
Well, I guess I haven't even mentioned this. Most of you probably know I'm a photographer, but
a damn good photographer.
I don't know if I mentioned that on the early podcast, but anyhow.
Who knows that Kaz is a photographer? Probably know it.
But anyhow, I love shooting musicians, rock and roll, everything. And Andrew McKeag, a lot of you guys may know him from his fame from the President of the United States of America, amongst other bands, which I have all his vinyl. Hard Roller, great band.
Nice van, by the way.
The Black Panties, early band, put out by my friend Zach Jones' Kingdom Records. And then his solo album, the Andrew McKeag Band. Andrew is a bona fide rock and roller. He knows everybody, everybody knows him. So he called me up needing photos done. And I was like...
Photos done for what, the McKeag Band?
Yes, just different promo photos, everything. And I was like, I love San Diego, and I love a good Hodad's Burger. Best burger joint, probably in the world.
And then the next thing you thought is that you love me, and you're like, we should do a trip, right?
Yes, because I have traveled many times hauling soft boxes, lighting boxes, camera gear by myself, and just the airport part alone is a pain in the ass doing that. Mm-hmm. And I figured, you know what? John has seen me work enough with the camera, kind of knows what I'm doing. Everything can go twice as quick with an extra person. So I brought it up to John saying, hey, come to San Diego with me. Got a photo job I want to do.
And so for me, it was really exciting because I've been to San Diego a lot of times, and it's always been about doing something for work or it's around golf. But I'm like, yes, of course I'll go with you. And I want you to plan as many photo shoots as you can because I was really excited to be able to help you and just, further your amazing work. So I'm just like, let's pack this trip full of photo shoots. We don't really need to do anything fun for ourselves. We'll still have fun on this trip. And so we planned this trip. And the night before we're flying out, we're like, well, shoot, let's just go to the Electric Six show. Remember that?
Right. It was at Numos. Up in Seattle.
And so the show is going to probably finish up at 12 or 12:30. And like, we can just go to the airport, sleep in our car, and then get on the plane at 5:30, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, we try, honestly, I mean, we're burned out when we get home, but we're happy that we are because we do so much in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and so I learned something new about you that night, and I'm going to tell you the truth. It kind of pissed me off.
No.
Okay? So whenever we go to these shows, a lot of times I'm driving home. I'm the driver on the home visits,
Right.
And you crash pretty early, right?
I do. That's my sleep.
I knew that going in, but what I didn't know is you can sleep anywhere. So you're like, let's sleep in the car. Let's sleep at the airport. We get into the parking lot, and you're asleep before I can turn the car off. And I could not sleep at all. So I'm tossing and turning in my crappy car at the time. And we finally go into the airport to get to our terminal, you fall asleep again. And I'm just like, how does he do it?
I'm a very strategic sleeper. I like find these pockets and I use them for sleep.
You've got a lot of pockets in
great.
your life, Ryan. It's pretty amazing. I shouldn't say pissed off. It's jealous. I wish I could do that.
That's more appropriate.
The older I get, just sleeping on command is much, much harder. But that's one of the many problems that I have. And over the course of the show, you're going to hear about them all. Trust me.
Right.
So we fly out. We left at 5:30. We fly out. We get to San Diego about 8:30. And then another thing that I found out about you that I didn't know. Again, this is the first time that we're going anywhere other than Seattle, Tacoma, Portland for a show. When you travel, you like to travel big, and you rented a black minivan, a Pimp Daddy minivan. I'm like, oh my God, this alone is going to make this trip amazing. And
the minivan Halen.
Minivan Halen. So we get to sunny San Diego. I think we go to Andrew's house, and the fact that somebody is nice enough to allow us to stay in their home. Andrew knows you really well. I think I've met him a few times before that, but oh my gosh, somebody's really nice. A rock star is putting us up.
And that's just Andrew's nature. He's just, like I said, just one of those guys. In the industry, you meet those guys, and he is that guy. He's just a great guy.
He's a very nice guy. I feel like blowing Andrew a kiss. I love him. He's going to watch this. So we get down there. We just have tacos on the beach, and then go back to his house. And then he cooks us an amazing dinner of tacos, right?
Oh yeah,
he's putting
secret.
us up. Yeah, it
was a deep fried shells with Parmesan cheese.
Those were really good. His wife is, very nice as well. Great kids. So
good time. It was just nice that he let us use his house as a crash hub.
Yeah, and I think that when we got there was when I finally got some sleep. I think we went into the guest room and slept for a couple hours, and I think he are those guys alive in there? I think he was checking in the room. Yeah, we were knocked out.
Yeah.
So we finished.
Too much of one night.
Too much fun. But we finished up that night. We get up early the next morning, and we went out to Ocean Beach, not only to get this amazing Hodad's burger, which you kept talking about.
Oh, but just if you haven't gone to Ocean Beach, I mean, the people that have been there are probably rolling their eyes. Yeah, been there, but it's so cool.
I know you took a bunch of pictures of people surfing out there.
Yes, it's just I could sit out there all day watching the surfers. And I just love, for the fact that I never knew how to surf or never had the ability to surf because of terrible balance.
Which I think we could probably do because I feel like I have a body like a seal or like a harbor seal.
You're probably very buoyant.
Very buoyant.
You're very buoyant.
Cut through the water like it's butter. And that Hodad's burger, you're like, oh, it's a pretty big burger. I think there's going to be a picture of it, but it's like this big.
Yeah, it's Ocean Beach, Hodad's. There you go, guys. Try it.
Yeah, so I had that, and I felt good eating it, and then I felt bad for the next 6 or 7 hours.
Well, shoot, and then wasn't it like 100 degrees?
It was super hot, heat wave. San Diego's usually not as hot as other places, but it was hot.
And we're heading to L.A. that day.
Heading to L.A. That's one thing I'd never done. You probably did it a bunch of times when you were on tour, but I've been to San Diego a million times, and L.A., equally as many, but I've never taken that drive. So driving up the coast was amazing. I remember getting by Disneyland, and I'm like, oh, geez, there's golf and stuff from the Karate Kid movie. And I'm excited to tell you, I look over, you're sleeping again.
I found that perfect pocket.
And I felt a little stupid, being so excited to, see something from the Karate Kid. But I think I'm not so stupid, Cobra Kai is like everywhere, right?
Right.
It's a hot series. But we get to somewhere, I don't know what part of town they lived in. But
I want to say it was Highland Park, maybe, right around there.
We grabbed some booze and we grabbed some snacks, and we went and met our friend Susie Moon at her house.
Yes.
And we did a photo shoot with her.
An awesome photo shoot.
Poolside photo shoot. That was.
Yeah, Susie had been on my radar. I did a shoot for her with her other band, the Turbulent Hearts, years ago. We had 2 bands, 5 people staying at my house, and if you haven't seen Susie Moon perform, do yourself a favor and do so. This lady is phenomenal.
She is a rock and roll badass.
Yeah, and I always wanted to do another shoot with her, and happened to be that she was at, what was her name, her friends that had the pool?
Dez, and then Jason, yeah.
Jason, yeah. So they were so generous in making the pool look all night. The pool look all nice with the patio furniture, the umbrellas, and getting all set up, making our gin and tonics, getting ready to shoot. Jason tries to hit the diving board and it collapses with the planter box. So the beautiful pool now is a dirt factory.
Dirt factory, and that was not expected, but you rolled with it. It was great. I remember it was so hot. You and I drank that fifth of tequila in half an hour, and neither of us were tipsy at all because it immediately sweated out of us.
Right.
But that was really, really fun. That was, we've done, I don't know how many photo shoots we've done, but like the outdoor by the pool, it was really a fun experience in spite of the fact that I was drenched in sweat and I wasn't intoxicated.
It was
a weird combination. But we did not stop at that because...
No, then our good friend Mark Diamond
of the Dwarves.
Yes, the Fresh Prince of Darkness.
He lived pretty close, right?
Right. I think it was like a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
For LA, that's not bad.
And so, again, Mark Diamond is just a prince. I mean, Fresh Prince of Darkness. That makes sense, but he's so nice. His wife and kid were there, and you did some amazing candid shots with him in the backyard. Yes,
it was still his favorite photo ever taken, he says.
No, it's still my favorite photo. I don't know if it's the same one. You know, you've got that cool one of him in front of the trampoline with his daughter.
Yeah, I told her to jump like Eddie Van Halen. I think she was like 8 years old at the time, and she knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, but the one I like is I have a behind-the-scenes shot of you shooting Mark sitting in a chair, just holding his guitar, and the light is so amazing. It's a really great photo. I mean, you were doing that 7 years ago, and you're like even better now. You've come so far, Brian. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, jeez, thank you.
And so we finish up with Mark, and then it's like we got to go stay with our friends Ricky and Dusty, who were not as like I knew them, but I wasn't as friendly as I am now. They lived out in Corona, California. That was like, nope, I lied. We went to Nick Oliveri's next, right?
Oh, did we?
We went to his house, and you did a photo shoot for him.
And that was the cool. Nick told us to stay the night there, which his house. Like, you could go through this house all night long just seeing the coolest stuff. It was like kind of a cross between like if Stephen King and Aleister Crowley lived in a house.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was big. He was getting ready to sell it, though.
Yeah.
But we went through it, and he was just so nice. He's like, open up this big cabinet full of merch, and like, take what you want. And I know we ended up getting some records from him.
Yes.
And then he barbecued for us, which was awesome.
Yes, and he could have gone all night. I mean,
and he usually does.
And
he then
does.
Sleeps all day.
Yep.
But he goes all night. And so one of the, I don't know if surreal is the right moments, that was right when Queens of the Stone Age was releasing their album, their current album, right?
Right.
And I'm like, hey, have you heard the new Queens of the Stone Age song? Nick Oliveri, formerly of Queens of the Stone Age. And he's like, no, I hadn't heard it yet. And so I played it for him. So the first time he heard the first song off that album was for me. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's cool?
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah. And so we stayed there a long time, probably till 11:30 or 12. I mean, shooting all over his house and just looking at just all the memorabilia, the figurines, and like his girlfriend, like didn't she make like leather?
She
jackets
made
for
leathers
the
and
stars,
stuff like.
And we were downstairs looking at all that stuff.
I think she made Axl Rose's jackets for him.
That's really cool. And then obviously he had gold records up from Queens of the Stone Age. That was really
and
really
the
cool.
Moon Man Award from MTV.
Oh, that's right, yeah. And so we left his house and headed out to Corona to see Ricky and Dusty, or to stay with Ricky and Dusty. That was like an hour and a half drive.
Right, and if nobody knows again who Ricky and Dusty Watson are, they are husband and wife drummers, and amazing drummers. Amazing,
right? But together they're like the most adorable. Best couple in rock and roll.
Yes, and Dusty is just, you're not going to meet a better guy. Currently drumming for Nashville Pussy, but Dusty's fame came when the Runaways broke up. He became Lita Ford's drummer for her first album.
That's really cool.
Drummed with Agent Orange, Dick Dale, the Sonics. The guy is Super Suckers, yes.
So, he's really great. And so I think they the house is unlocked. come in whenever you want. I think we got there about 1:30 or so.
Yeah.
Went in his house, got up early, and like, let's have coffee. And we start. I don't think I had spent that much time with them, but they just, welcomed me into their home with open arms. And you, of course, you knew them. And
of course, all these visits we're doing are persisting of me doing photo shoots for all these. So you're going to see a lot of the photos as we talk about this on the video.
What I'm guessing is they've already seen some of the photos because Kelsie is going to magically pop them up as we're talking about these people.
Right.
I'm guessing they've seen 7 to 8 photos by now.
Right.
Yeah, I think they've seen
She's
them.
a magician
She
with
is
her
a musician.
editing.
And then talk about another photo shoot. We went out into the hills. I wouldn't quite call it the desert, but when we woke up, we hung with Dusty. He went to his storage unit to get a bunch of old records. What's the band that he was in?
So Dusty played, if you'd ever seen that documentary, a band called Death.
Uh-huh.
They go over there was once a magazine had the top unsigned bands, and his band, The Press, was number 2 behind Death.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, he has a stack of those 45s. It's funny. He says he'll put them up on eBay every couple years and get a few $100 for one.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas shopping.
That's brilliant. But we did that, and then we headed out into the hills, and Andrew McKeag drove his van out from San Diego because you were going to do a desert motorcycle shoot with him.
Right. And if no one knows this about Andrew, not only is he just a fabulous frontman, guitarist, whatever, musician, he is a great dirt biker. He is part of the ARMA, the American Historical Racing Association, does all the vintage races, just has a ton of motorcycles and just knows the history of them. In fact, race legend Dick Mann built a bike for him before he passed away, who was the original Supercross champion back in the day. Yeah. And so he wanted to do a shoot recreating the Steve McQueen Sports Illustrated cover. And so we did that. He had the same helmet, same bike, everything. We did that total cool, same pants, shirtless, just like Steve McQueen. And it was just such a cool shoot.
And that was probably, I don't think that we had done anything like that, or I hadn't done it with you. I mean, that was a total action shot. Okay, Andrew's going to be 100 yards away, and he's going to be driving up this hill, and he's going to get to it, and you're going to capture the picture.
Right, and then we did a cool few of them, just, getting them at the apex on a berm and stuff like that. Did some really fun photos.
Yeah, that was, another super hot day. We must have drank 12 to 14 bottles of water, a couple beers, maybe a soda.
Right. And the fun thing about all these shoots, too, are the thing I like to do is capturing musicians out of their music element, you know? Like we had Mark Diamond with his koi pond and fishing pole, and we had, Andrew with his motorcycles and stuff, and Nick with all his collectibles. And
you've got that cool picture of Dusty where he's kind of posing with a
watering
shovel
his,
watering.
Yeah, he's watering his plants. And so... and those are the fun things about the musicians is when a lot of people can see them on stage every night or whatnot, or in a band shoot, but it's just kind of fun being in the home life. And it's just really cool that, they trust us and love our photo work enough for us to stay and do all that work for them.
It was really cool. A lot of fun. Dusty also likes riding motorcycles, so
yes.
he popped on Andrews and rode around a bit.
Dusty's he's been riding for years too.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And so we finished that up, cleaned ourselves up, and then we went back in town and we had lunch with Ricky and Dusty at the sushi place in Corona. Swear to the big man upstairs, the best sushi I've ever had. There was something like a volcano roll that was on fire that I've looked on any place I go to have sushi. I look for this and I don't see it. But it was amazing, and we even went to Baskin Robbins after that, right? Just like a sweet day. Again,
right.
These rock stars that you meet, Brian, they're such nice people, and I'm just waiting for the time where I'm like, well, you were a little off on this person. They are always so nice, and because they like you so much, they're always not so nice to me, and. I never want to sully your good name. And so I'm always nice and on my best behavior, and it always works out. And it was just great. And so after that, after all that fun we had.
Then we decided to go to a Super Sucker show at the Viper Room.
Yeah, and so
The first band I ever worked for, so that was kind of fitting. It was
and
cool.
like the Viper Room, I mean, I've been hearing about it since River Phoenix OD'd right out in front of it. You know, it was at one time owned by Johnny Depp. So this is one of the, you know, there's a lot of these legendary clubs and venues that you always want to hit, like at least once. But we went back to Nick's place and met up with him for dinner. And then we went to the show, right? And then he showed up, and Mark Diamond showed up, and
Bonnie from Nashville
Pussy, and
Matt Sorum was there.
Yeah, just from Guns N' Roses, and Super Suckers played a rockin' set as they always do.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and then if that wasn't enough, like, okay, now we've got to drive back to San Diego because we're staying the next night with Andrew. So
and doing another shoot with him, and
so we drive back to San Diego, and then we get up and we do the photo shoot for the Andrew McKeag Band, right? Yeah.
And then we go visit our friend Adam Grimm at Satellite Amps, and all musicians know Satellite Amps are just incredible amplifiers, and Adam is just a master of his craft of making great.
And another just amazingly nice person.
Right.
So we went downstairs and did a photo shoot with Andrew in front of all the amps and stuff like that. I know I've got a cool behind-the-scenes photo of that. And then I go upstairs, and I just take a nap. I'm like, I'm going to catch up on my sleep.
And I happen to be awake, which is odd.
That's, real table-turning moment for us. But again, sleeping there, they're all nice. They're not making fun of me. They're not, pulling any pranks. They let me catch up on like a half hour of sleep. And then I don't remember why, but we went out to Torrey Pines, the golf course.
Because we were there. And you love golf.
Yeah, and so I don't love golf as much as I did then. So I probably wouldn't maybe I would, but, just walked around, took a couple shots. I bought a couple shirts from there, and that was pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we did Andrew shoot for him with his motorcycles and stuff. And I think that pretty much capped off our experience. I mean, the driving and the shoots.
We did one more one more shoot. We went out to the cliffs in San Diego. Remember that?
Oh, yes, yeah. Did some more photos for Andrew. And that was on the way to the airport. So like I say, I'm trying to get every click out of my camera every second I can. And so, I mean, this trip was nonstop. I don't think we got much sleep on it. But it definitely, like I say, for what I do, it was so rewarding because all the photos that you guys have seen during this thing are some of my favorite that I've done. And it's just really neat to be able to do that with such great musicians that I admire and have been watching from the crowd before I actually got to know them, you know? And it's really neat to get inside the lives and hang out with these people on a regular basis. It's just kind of cool, and like I always say, if you're just nice to people and never burn a bridge, they're going to treat you the same way.
Yeah, and I think it was a really defining moment for us. Again, this is going to be a 5-part series, our 5 best experiences together. Why I wanted to do this one first is because it's our first trip away together. When you spend, a single day with people, that's one thing. But when you travel with something,
it's a whole new thing.
It's a whole new thing.
Whole new thing.
And again, I don't know how we get along so well all the time, right? And not only are we having great times with these musicians we know, we meet strangers and just have these amazing conversations. We just are, I don't want to get too full of myself or full of us, but we are just lovable, fun-loving guys. And I think that people appreciate that, and we have great chats and great times, and it's a pretty wonderful ride we've been on.
It has been. And like I say, I cannot thank all these musicians enough for being so good to us, And, I mean, they're all great.
Yeah, and then so if that wasn't enough, we fly back into Olympia late Saturday night. We take one day off, and then we go see Roger Waters.
Yeah.
And
that kind of bummed me out because I ended up having photo passes for that. Kind of got up there before the show started pretty close. But there was confusion on where the photo pass was. So by the time I was running up and down from the Tacoma Dome, it would have been too late to shoot the 3 songs. I was like, go up there. Well, you can't bring your camera. And I was like, Yeah. So I checked it into the local hotel just so I could get in the show.
I remember that, yeah. And so that's the only time we ever get anxiety is oh, we've got to get our backstage passes or your photo pass, and sometimes it's not as easy,
Right,
as
especially
it
a
would
big
seem.
venue like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was just great, and so I think that's kind of wrapping up this episode. Again, we want to thank Kelsie and Mark hanging out over there, doing this, helping us. It's so awesome.
And making us, well, I don't know if they make us look good. They make us look professional.
I have a feeling percentage-wise, we're 10 to 12% better with these lights and all that stuff. It helps. It helps.
It does.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up. One more thing. So this show is called For the Record with Kaz and Shea. And twice in the first episode, we introduced ourselves as Shea and Kaz. We might have to be much smarter than that, Brian.
Okay.
So let's try and wrap it up in sort of a classy, show-driven way. Okay. All right.
I'm Kaz.
And I'm Shea, and this has been another episode of For the Record with Kaz and Shea. Thanks for watching. Rock on. Should we say rock on every time? I don't know.
I don't know.
All right.
We'll figure that out. You guys figure out the catchphrase for us. How's that
Oh,
sound?
yeah, in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for all the people that have viewed our episodes up to now. We're going to keep keep them coming out. So we love you all, and I love you, Brian.
I love you, John.
Bye.